All right, we're back with the 1986 Kawasaki KX125. If you guys remember last video on this bike, we picked it up for $400. Really good deal for a running bike, but this bike did not shift. It shifted into first gear, but it wouldn't shift past second gear. So we took apart the clutch cover and found that the shift shaft spring was in the wrong position and it wasn't actually springing back. So we fixed that, we got this bike to shift, but we found out it had pretty low compression, the power wasn't really there. So we tore apart the top end, found that the rings were pretty worn, and that led to the low compression. We also found that the impeller shaft was broken off right where the impeller sits. So the impeller was just sitting in here, not attached, and there was no way to fix that unless you got a new shaft. So we got a new shaft for that today, but that was bad because there's no way of cooling down this engine unless that impeller is spinning, and it was not. So we found out those two things, that was not good, and then we looked at the rest of the bike and found that the boot, the manifold boot, was like ripped in half. You can see big cracks in it. The piston was pretty worn, like we said before. The reeds, you can see that one's completely open right there, and some of them are like broken off. See the chips in it? So we got new reeds as well for this thing. Also, the steering stem bearings are junk. Really hard to steer on this thing. So we got a new bearing kit for that as well. So we're going to be installing that today. Also a new bearing for the top end. That was shot on this bike too. New air filter. And then a new piece of side plastic because that one is just garbage on there. So new plastic for it. And then here are the new reeds. And then new Wiseco piston, and a new top and bearing kit. And here is the water pump shaft. This thing was close to $200 just for this. I had to get it from the UK. The only one for sale I could find anywhere. So unfortunately, this was almost half the cost of this bike. So that's a bummer. And then the impeller we could find on eBay. This is the newer one. This one you can see has a couple worn out spots there. So we got a new one on eBay. But parts for this bike are not easy to find. So it was a little expensive coming up with all the parts, but it should turn out to be a pretty nice bike when we're done with it. So let's get going on the video and try to get this thing rebuilt today. Right now, one of my least favorite parts, we're scraping off the old gasket. It usually takes about an hour for me to get all these gaskets off. Very time consuming. This one's pretty much off here. And then off the base gasket there. That all looks good. Now we can work on getting these power valves out. Alright, so these little guys go right over that, hold those in place. I pulled up on both of these and I was able to get this rod through. For most of the way through. There we go. So that was like that. That little piece didn't come off there. These should pull out. So there's the left one. And for these, to line these up, there's actually a little dot right on there. You can see it right there. See if I can zoom in. Little dot right there. When you put these back in, you're going to line up the little dot with the line right here, just like that. So we're going to mark these. This one is the This is the right hand side one. And then this one's gonna be the left. Gonna lube this up with a little 2-stroke oil before we hone it out. Coat that cylinder. Alright, you can see the cross hatches in here. Looking really good. So, cylinder's all honed out. Let's see what that piston looks like next. Alright, new Weisco piston. Let's open this up. Got the pin here. Got the rings. Clips. Believe you have to drill holes on this one. Oh, it looks like they already came with them. Alright. Holes are already drilled. It's kind of nice. There's a nice tight fit piston there. I believe this is the standard bore. Get the ring out. So there is a little N on it. That means it's going to be facing up on the piston. So let's get that in the cylinder. See what our ring gap is at. Squish that down. Yeah, that looks a little better. That's nice and tight. Get a reading on that. Yep, you can see exactly 12 thousandths. So that one just fits in. Almost 11 thousandths to be honest. So, nice tight ring gap there. Got our clips there. And then we've got our new top end rod bearing here. Just a little roller bearing. So go like that. End facing up. It's pretty easy, just one ring. You can see the end facing up right there. Arrow is going to be pointing towards the exhaust side of the bike, or towards the front of the bike in this case. Brass brush here. Alright, time to get these power valves back in place here. So, here's the right hand side, here's the left hand side. These power valves are actually marked, I looked this up. And the right hand side is going to have a little notch in it right here on that shaft. The left hand side is not going to have that. See, it's just smooth. So left hand, right hand. So when you install this, you want to lift these up about 1/4 of an inch above where you put them in. So this is the right hand side with the notch going in, and this bar is going to have to fit through here. We're going to put this in through here, and you want to lift it up just a little bit so that bar can go in there just like that. And same with the left hand side. So before we get the right hand in, we want this one in too. Otherwise it won't be able to fit in there. So you can lift that up, get that in. See, there's a dot that lines up with the line on the shaft. Maybe see it better. There we go. Dot lined up with the line. Same with the one over here. There's a dot. Little indent dot right there. Alright, so you want the ports closed right here when the bar is all the way to the left. See how that bar moves to the left? It's all the way to the left. And you look down here, see how those ports are closed off on both sides. And then when you pull the rod out, they're going to be open. So you can see, now you can see through those ports. So that allows more air to flow through at high RPMs. Alright, we're going to get some gasket maker on here before we put the base gasket on. A little ultra black going on here. This was cleaned off with a brake cleaner so that there's no oil on it. I like to put a little bit on the bearing as well, on the bottom end here. It's been sitting for a little bit. Doesn't hurt to have a little oil on that. This in ring will get lubed up. Oiled up the bearing here, like that. Drop that down. And we'll get the circle up in the other side. Alright, next the cylinder's going on. He's lined up here. Alright, kick this thing over a couple times. Really nice and smooth. Looks good. Clean that all off, looking good. This is gonna go on this way. And make sure everything is in line here. There we go. Alright, let's get the new reeds installed. You can see this one is pretty chipped, not very good. You can see it's open. You can see air through it. So let's get those reeds off and replace them with new Boysen reeds. Alright, so Boysen recommends you get rid of the rev plate here. That was the original rev plate, and use the one that they included in the kit. So it comes with the dual stage reeds here. So you can have the one with the cutouts, and the one that goes over that. And that's how that's going to go on here. It's going to go like that. And the rev plate will go right on there like that. Alright, you can see those are nice and flat, looking good. So now we can do the other side. Off of there. Get rid of the rev plate there. And you can see these are pretty banged up at the corners. Right here. Alright, let's get the new reeds on. Alright, new Boysen reeds installed. See, no gaps now. Alright, let's start working on this water pump here. Show you guys what we're dealing with. It's pretty crazy, actually. You can see that shaft is just broken right off of there. So obviously you can't twist a impeller onto there. So in order to get that out, you have to take off the whole cover here. So let's get working on that. So I believe we changed this oil last video, but we'll change it again. Yeah, that looks like brand new oil. You can see it's not white at all, so the water pump seals are holding pretty good. Break off. Let that dangle. Alright, I believe the cover can come off now. Might need a little bit of a hammer hit. Here she comes. Alright, and now this is the part we're after. Right there. So that just pops right out like that. You should be able to quick replace that with a new one. Looks to be exact to me. What that stuff is in there. Some type of Loctite or something. Get that nut off there. Alright. Got that wire wheeled off. So this is just going to fit right in here. Like that. And now, you can see it's got a good end on it, so we can put the impeller on there when we reinstall it. Alright, we got this cover back on. Kick lever going back on. Alright, make sure that kicks over still. You can see the water pump shaft is spinning. That's good. Our washer. Get our gasket on here. Alright, getting these power valves hooked up. This little tab sticking out goes underneath there like that. So that goes like that, and then this comes out and it pulls those power valves. We'll tighten that down. And this slides on like that. Underneath there. All right, let's get these steering stem bearings out of here. First, we'll get the handlebars off. All right, we got the triple tree off, and here are what those bearings look like. You can see those are completely locked up. So water must have gotten in there. Those are absolutely horrible. And that seal is junk, so that's probably why water got in there. So we're gonna pull this whole thing out and get some new bearings in there. I think we can leave the races in there. Those are fine. Yeah, there's that bearing. Just junk. Alright, here's the new bottom bearing. And we're just gonna pack these full of grease here. I like to just put some in my hand, and then we can pack it full. Just work that around. Pack that in there. Pack it from the top too. Here's the other bearing. The top one. And you've got your seals that go over it. All right, went ahead and installed the pipe. Got everything done except for the carburetor. So let's go through the carb quick, and then we'll attempt to start this thing up. We'll see here. The main jet was just out of it. What the heck? That's probably why it was so boggy. Jeez. Well, good thing we checked that. Running a 340 main, and that just fell right out of the bowl here. Huh. That's crazy. Floats are moving up and down. That's good. Good thing we checked this. Running a 35 Pilot. See if that was clear. Pretty clogged. Alright, everything else should be good. Is this thing missing the air screw too? Guess there's no air screw on it. That's really weird. You'd think it would be right in here, but there's no threads. That's very strange. Alright, we're gonna clean that up, blow it out with the air compressor, and reinstall it. We'll see if this thing fires up. Alright, we got the carburetor on, all installed. Let's get this side plastic off. That can go right in the garbage. Got a brand new one. Alright, this thing's all put back together. Looking pretty decent actually. Looks a lot better with that new plastic on there. Alright, let's get some oil in here. It takes 0.6 liters and some 10W40 wet clutch oil. I think a little bit more, and that should be good. Perfect. Nothing's leaking yet. Alright, that's topped off. Alright, so I think the old gas was in here, so we're draining that out. We're gonna put some fresh stuff in. It was blue, and I used red oil, so I don't think I ever replaced the gas and oil in here. So we'll let that drain out for a bit. Alright, mixed up some 40 to 1. All right, we've got coolant in it, we've got oil in it, we've got a brand new top end on there. Carb was gone through, fresh 40 to 1. Fresh plug, let's see if she fires up here. Choke it. Running pretty good. Smoking quite a bit. Oh yeah, she's revving out pretty good. So, let's take it for a little test drive. See if it moves here. Hoping it still goes through all the gears. And I'm hoping it has more power. Before it was really boggy. Alright, made it out to the land. We are going to be test driving the freshly rebuilt 1986 Kawasaki KX125. See if it has any power this time. Before, this thing was pretty boggy. So let's see if the top end rebuild helped. And I'm sure the jet being in the right place will help as well, because the main jet was just flopping around in the carb. So that's probably the main reason it was boggy. But yeah, let's see how it runs. Well, we blew the silencer right off. I think the bolts came out right here. So we'll have to put that back on when we get back home, but yeah. All of a sudden I heard the bike get really loud and looked back and that was sitting on the ground. Alright, this thing is running great. We're gonna do a couple checks when we get back home. Make sure it's all in tip-top shape, but man, it moves pretty good. Alright, made it back home. A couple things we want to check is compression after the rebuild. Make sure that's good to go. It's actually hard to kick over. I want to check the oil, make sure that's not milky, because we installed that new shaft. And then I want to look at the spark plug and see what color that is. Make sure we're not running too lean. I just washed the bike. And you can see perfectly clear. So that's holding up. That's good. I was a little bit worried about that shaft, but that looks perfect. Plug without taking off the tank here. Yep. All right. Oh yeah, that's not too bad. So it's not running too lean. That's good. We're going to check compression next. See what that looks like. It should be 150 to 160 is what we're looking for. Hopefully we're right in that range. Alright, we're gonna try to put it through here. Throttle open and we'll give it a couple kicks here. Oh yeah. That's what we like to see. We are at 175. So that is amazing compression for 125. All right, this one's officially done. Running great, driving great. As you can see, no leaking from the engine at all. This has been sitting for a couple hours. So everything is tight. And yeah, this bike is good to go. So I ended up buying this thing for 400 bucks. And I think I spent close to $700 into it. So that makes a total of $1,100 into this bike. And that's not including any time or anything like that. So when you buy a bike for 400, you kind of get what you pay for here. You'll end up putting more money into it than what it's worth when you buy a cheap bike. I don't know, you know, buying a $400 bike sounds good, but you're gonna end up spending a lot of money just to try to repair everything. And this one needed a lot of work. So we got really lucky though that it didn't need the bottom end. Otherwise we'd be spending probably $1,500 on this bike. So hope you guys enjoyed the video though, picking it up, diagnosing the no shift problem, and then tearing it down, rebuilding it back up, and taking it for the first ride. Very satisfying hearing a 1986 Kawasaki two-stroke start for the first time after a rebuild. These things sound awesome, and this one's pretty fast. But yeah, we'll have a lot of fun with it in the future. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned for the next video, and until next time, we are out.